It's October 2020. The economic impact of COVID-19 has been a devastating hit for South African businesses. Large, well-known companies such as Edcon had filed for bankruptcy protection back in June. Associated Media Publishing, that was started back in 1982, closed its doors. And Caxton and CTP publishers and printers withdrew from magazine publishing altogether. With large companies feeling the effects of the pandemic, small businesses operated under more pressure to keep the doors open. The few that have survived were able to adapt to the sudden changes enforced due to the lockdown restrictions. What most of them had in common was an active online presence and engagement with an online community of supportive clients.
Hi, I'm Marissa Manech, and you're listening to the Woven Experiences podcast. Here we share stories around important topics and explore the interconnectedness between ourselves and the world around us. Let's get into it.
Today's guest is Makhosazane Rose Sekgwana, a designer, entrepreneur, and business owner of ROSA Handmade SA. Their products are made from recycled materials taken from the local clothing industry that would have otherwise ended up in landfills. Quality products made sustainably and proudly South African. What's not to love? Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come and speak to me. What do you guys produce? I obviously have one of your gorgeous baskets in my living room.
Well, thank you so much for having me here, Marisa. We actually make homeware products using recycled cotton material from the local clothing factories.
That's incredible.
Yes.
Being an entrepreneur, what made you decide to start a business and why homeware?
I started back in 2017 and it was actually a hobby. I went back to crocheting and I was using normal wool just for my daughter. I was actually inspired by her. She was 2 years at the time. And I remember that I had learned the technique, but I hadn't been doing it for many years. And at the time, I worked in corporate. So yeah, I started it as a hobby and just making, and experimenting with different fibers and yarns. And when I came across this specific one, it's actually a t-shirt yarn. It's a recycled material from the local clothing factories, and they just roll it up into balls and then they send it to normal wholesalers of yarns. So yeah, I started just crocheting with it, and then I saw that it was different in the fact that it could hold shape and form, and it was easier to work with. And I saw that I got inspired to make certain baskets and try out and see what people would think of it. So whatever I had made, I started to look for local markets where I could pop up on a Saturday and try it out, get the feedback, see what people think. And I didn't think that it would go far, that it would be something that it has become what it is now. And people actually guided where the direction we take, what direction we take with it, because of the things they required and suggestions and the colors. And then from there, I knew that definitely this is something that I want to pursue. And I had been looking to do something that is more fulfilling, something that I'll be passionate about, as opposed to just, waking up and going to work and doing something that I didn't necessarily feel fulfilled with. And just, being able to interact with people, knowing that I create things that have meaning, and also that they are environmentally friendly. So all of that has made this to be a business that I'm very passionate about.
I obviously Instagram stalk your posts, and there's been really creative things that came out of that. I remember seeing a few baskets in the shapes and shades of foxes
and dogs that look like their
Yeah.
baskets. It's absolutely adorable.
Right. Yeah, no, it's definitely wonderful. Well, we stay amazed at the things that we come up with, and also being challenged by customers who ask us, "Can you make this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, certainly." So there's a lot of fun. There is never a dull moment because there is endless possibilities in what one can create. But mostly we customize our product. That is why you will see so many various designs and patterns and colors. So it is not just one thing we make to order. And so, yeah, that is the fun that is in the making.
From all these creative endeavors, what brings you the most joy?
What brings me the most joy out of this is knowing that each and every item that we make and create is going to end up in a home that is love, that the person that we create for, and that they're going to love what we have made for them. But it is not just random purchasing of things that they will get home and use once and discard. We know that there is sentiments that come with knowing that your product that you bought was handmade by real people who are passionate about what they do, and that there is various uses for these products. That is the fulfillment that I get from every single item that we make here. We know that we're creating for people that really love the stuff that we make.
Yeah. We find ourselves, we wouldn't say post-COVID, we're still amidst the pandemic.
Yeah.
But before the chaos consumed our country, what did your typical workday look like?
Before COVID, I mean, yeah, we had just, personally, I had just returned from design in Durban, and endless possibilities were awaiting. So many projects that we wanted to embark on, and personally, I wanted to push my design ideas and projects, and there were so many things that we were looking forward to do, and there was a lot of local events that we were lined up to participate in, and I knew that ROSA Handmade, the brand itself, was going to go very far, and so many opportunities were awaiting, and then also travel, so many ideas. So my typical day before COVID, there's a lot of emails to answer, a lot of events to look forward to participate in production. So there was a lot, and I wanted to grow my team a little bit bigger so that I can have more ladies that assist. And it was we're looking forward to a whole lot of great things in 2020, and then COVID came and everything halted. Everything just came to a
Yeah.
dead end, and we found ourselves now wondering what is going to be happening. And personally, I felt like everything was now just going to die, and yeah, it was a big shocker. It was a big shocker when COVID happened, but we have been surprised by how our local people have turned to look into supporting local businesses, small businesses, the importance of authentic handmade products, sourcing more authentically. That has kept us afloat, and I've had to change many things in how I work, in my team here, because my business is very much is home based. I work from home, so mostly all of these products are made in my small living room.
Yeah, no, I think everyone can relate.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, so things have had to change in how we work.
What went through your mind when you realized the gravity of COVID and the impending lockdown?
Yeah, no, I won't lie to you. I was greatly frustrated, and also just the panic of not knowing what's next. How is this going to work? Is this now the end of business as we know it? For me, it was yeah, because nothing could have prepared me personally for all of that, and how things were going to change. The lockdown that we now suddenly, we couldn't see out there. Even if I create the products that I make, but the fact that you can't reach your customers, normal selling is now stopped. So yeah, there was a lot of frustration. So I thought, okay, what I'll do is I'll continue online. Nothing made sense. There was a time where, making and posting didn't feel right. Nothing felt right, because I thought, okay, we're in the middle of a pandemic and scary things are happening, and we don't know whether we're all going to die or what's happening.
Oh my.
So,
Yo.
yeah, at first it was really just panic state. We'd never
Yes.
gone through a pandemic like this before. We were like, okay, yeah, this thing's gonna hit us hard. Yeah, but me continuing it was a thing of trying to remain sane and also just to give some hope to our followers to say, listen, we don't know where the world is going, what's going to happen, but we continue to make these. And surprisingly, there's a lot of people that would inbox me and say, listen, I just log in to see your beautiful work, and that keeps me inspired, that keeps me, hopeful that, one day we'll be able to purchase your stuff, we'll be able to, continue with life as it is. So for me, I thought that, okay, I'm not just going to do for myself, but I give hope to others as well. And some inspiration definitely came through, from people and the ideas that they continue to have, and what they wanted us to customize and make. And so, yeah, one had to carry on.
Yo, that's incredible. To be supported by a community in a time where the only means of communication was online.
Yes.
Did you receive any governmental support? How did you, staff-wise, keep everyone together?
Yeah, there was no support that I received, because there was all of these grants that we announced that there is this for small business, but to actually access them wasn't as easy. So I did not get any financial support from anybody whatsoever. So what I did is, I just carried on with the way that we were doing things. People would order and they would prepay for their orders, because they pay in upfront, and we use that money to source materials and go on. So, but obviously it was on a much smaller scale now, everything. And instead of working with a team of up to 5 ladies, now I had to work with one or two at a time, with social distancing observed, and the fact that, the demand wasn't as high. We were not making stocks, say, for pop-up events, for markets, so it will be just like per order as we go, maybe one basket there or a couple there. Yeah, it was a rough couple of months, but it was important for me to keep going on and to make sure that I don't just die out during this time. But yeah, we had to just carry on.
And now that the restrictions have lifted, do you see an increase in production and selling your items?
Yeah, no, definitely. Look, with restrictions having been lifted, it's looking much better, because we are getting corporate orders now, so we're able to produce on a much, larger scale here and there. And also, yes, some events have already opened. So currently, we're doing one pop-up a month, where we're able to sell our products. And there is, emails are starting to come through. We're being invited to some events that we feel that we can partake in. It's looking good. It's really promising. So the fact that we kept on right through this time, and people were aware that we exist, and we were able to supply them with corporate gifts and whatever is it that they need. They feel like they can trust us to come through and support them in those events as well. And also, um, I'm very much excited about the fact that tourists will be able to come through, because we do also get a lot of international support from people who buy our products as souvenirs when they go back to their countries, and they pride themselves in having sourced something authentically South African made. So I'm very excited about the new level 1 that we are in, and it's promising.
Tourism is a vital income stream for South Africa. According to the World Travel and Tourism Council, in 2018, the tourism sector directly contributed 2.8% of the GDP, which amounted to 139 billion rand, which is about $8.5 billion. However, the indirect contribution of the tourism sector was even higher, at 8.2% of the GDP in 2018. Besides the many people that were employed by tourism companies or organizations, many small businesses also relied on the international revenue and exposure.
With international flights coming in and so on, I'm sure that it will definitely stimulate the economy, because obviously we do rely on tourism.
Yes, greatly.
And yes, but I'm also very glad that you adapted so quickly to creating an online presence,
Yes,
on social media.
right.
Being in the middle of the pandemic, being as unpredictable as it is, and we don't really know what the
Absolutely.
future holds. How would you prepare differently if another, lockdown was to be announced?
Ooh, yeah, yeah, that.
I know.
Yeah. So, geez, yeah, looking at how things have been and how one was just carrying on without a solid plan, I wouldn't necessarily say that at this point I have a steady game plan as to how I would do things. But for me, I feel like if we remain present in our all online, in the social medias that I mean, if we remain online and we carry on and we make sure that our customers are able to reach us, I think we'll just pretty much stay afloat that way. We will not be able to sort of, I mean, die away just because we're in the middle of the pandemic. As long as you're able to reach your customers and you have various ways to assure them that they can always access your services and your products, I think that is what would keep us afloat, even if there is a pandemic or whatever else that hits. We carry on and we keep hope, and we remain passionate with what we create and all our offerings. And I think whatever happens, people will always come back to those places that show that no matter what has been happening, they are able to adapt and adjust and go out of their way to service the needs. I mean, we say, for example, courier services, and I mean, I go out and do deliveries myself. We just go an extra mile where possible to make sure that we deliver to our customers and we offer them, the best of our abilities.
Wow, that's very hands-on of you. Where do you get your drive from? You're incredibly driven, and launching a quality product that's sustainably practiced and all those things.
Yes.
What motivates you? What keeps you going? I mean, you've got an incredible drive.
Yeah, look, my drive comes from, first of all, because I mentioned before I was in corporate for many years before this. And for me, when I started ROSA Handmade SA, I have been looking for something that I would be so passionate about that I would wake up on a winter night at 4 a.m. and if I need to make, then I would find love in it. So what I do, first of all, I love it, and I would do it whether for money or just for fun. So there is so much love, there is so much passion that is in this craft that has now become design and product supply. I am very much driven by the love of it, and also by the fact that I've seen that through this I'm able to equip and empower a couple of women who are so proud in having acquired skills that they didn't think that they would be able to acquire as well through me teaching them, and also that they are able to put bread on their tables as well. And I'm also inspired by our customers, people that support us continually, who buy these products, and that we show them so much value, and we see that we've actually created something here that is necessary, something that they've been looking for, something that they find that it is done with so much love and authenticity. So yeah, all of this drives, knowing that we're creating for people that continually support us, and also that it is definitely a work of love. So yeah, every single day I want to wake up and be able to make something with my own hands and find so much love and fulfillment each and every time. Yeah.
I think everyone, strives to find that sweet spot of
Yes.
finding that fulfillment and
Mm.
passion and basically being able to sustain it
Yes.
throughout your life. That's incredible. Now, compared to pre-COVID and now amidst COVID, what
Yeah.
does your typical day look like now? When you go to work, do you
Yeah.
have sanitizer in the kitchen on the way to the living room?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, my typical day now, yeah, so it has changed. Everything has changed. There are sanitizers. We have to sanitize everything. I mean, like, even say from sourcing the yarns, we are go sourcing is the mask. You source when you arrive there, sanitizing how things are packaged and how they brought and the actual making. So I'm not working off my living room. There is I was able to make a small space outside in my yard where the ladies can be able to work at, where they can practice some social distancing. And we all put on masks and we use sanitizers, and it's different. It's totally different to how things were. We were also close and it was almost like hugging and playful. So we're so careful that because we know that at the end of the day, whatever we create, we have to deliver these products to customers, and we have to be cautious of their health as well as our own. So things are different. Things are very different in how we do things now. It's all about staying safe, staying healthy, and being cautious and considerate of each other as well as our customers. So my typical day every day, and as ladies arrive, they go straight to where they need to work, and and I come in, I join them. I'm in my mask, they're in their masks, and they know what they need to do. And we keep the space well ventilated, windows open, very cautious, but also we're still having fun because we have to be loving what we're doing.
Yeah, that's a hard balance to strike if you have to keep a social distance, but you have to, keep the morale up in a social atmosphere.
That's very weird. So yeah, yes, it is. It is. It's at first it was just very awkward because actually yeah, at first I just carried on by myself, especially in the very first sessions of the lockdown. Was it level 5? Because I thought, okay, if they have to come to me, they have to be using public transport and all of that. And then there was just no trust. So there was a couple of months where I worked literally alone by myself, but I had to still assist them a bit financially. And until then, things started to ease, and we saw, okay, there are some rules must are worn when they are getting here, and so yeah, it just has been very much different.
With sanitizers and masks and things put in as regulations just for safety precautions, does that take a big chunk of cost? I mean, you have to keep buying, these things to keep everyone safe.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
How expensive is that in the long run?
Yeah, look, it is an expensive exercise now because, I mean, these are added costs that one didn't anticipate that this would now be something that we need to do. So we've had to put money into that, into making sure that we have this masks and the sanitizing, and that additional space that I had to actually make at the back. I mean, we were fine working often in the living room before then. So there has been additional costs, definitely costs that one didn't anticipate, but they've actually now saved us as a permanent space that we're going to be working off, and being able to store more material and source more. So there's been a good side to that, in the fact that maybe it's pushed me a little bit further to say, all right, so let me create a proper working space for this rather than sitting around here and using the space of the family. So yeah, it was a necessary thing to do.
Now, amidst COVID, not all small businesses have done or have survived at all.
Yes,
I have 101 reasons why it's important to buy local and, sustainable products. But
yes.
what would you say to listeners? Like, why is it important to support local businesses?
Yeah. So, local businesses, we definitely need all the support we can get, especially because local businesses, every single sale counts. We're not like big retailers that can afford, to make so much stock and consign everywhere. For us, every little sale goes a long way. You're able to support other people that depend on you, your small employees. So it's very important that we get all the support we get, and also because the products that are made by small businesses mostly, it's more authentic. There is so much love, and they're made by people who dedicate so much, and knowing that every single sale changes their lives in some small way or another. So we need all the support we can get. We don't have big finances that can, support us to stay afloat. So we need all the support that we can get locally, especially during this time. And as a sustainable business, we try by all means to make sure that the products that we make are not environmentally harmful in any way, and that we are able to continue making these without faltering in any way.
When you talk about sustainability, we've seen now with the pandemic that all these news channels bringing to light Mother Earth getting a breath of fresh air for once because everyone's
Yes,
indoors looking out. and it's something to keep
yeah,
in mind. Just that contrast was incredible to see as lockdown progressed because everyone was obviously watching on social media and so on.
yeah,
Dolphins returning to areas that weren't there because the water was too polluted and so on. kind
yeah,
of kind of with that in mind, as well as the economic future of South Africa,
yes.
what good do you think will come of this?
I think the good that will come out of this is that, I mean, like you mentioned, that it looks like the earth needed to heal, and we needed to sit back and really see what harm we were creating with the way that we were producing. I think as designers and makers and retailers, we have to be now extra cautious of the way that we produce and produce as less as possible and be as sustainable as possible, being so much aware of the harm that we make to the environment. And so, what will happen going forward, the way I say it, with people being so much aware of all of this, is we will have to definitely change the way that we do things. We will have to be more considerate. We'll have to do things differently because, I mean, the earth is all that we have. And it's so important that we're very much careful of all our actions and everything that we do. So, yeah, there is good that is definitely coming. The fact that we were given a chance to step back and be able to see what we've been doing to the nature, and what difference does it make when we stop all of these emissions, the pollutions, and overcrowding spaces, and everything that we have been doing as a general way of living. I feel like as much as it's good for us to go back economically and work, but there has to be a way to slow down a bit, to slow down the way that we carry on, the way that we are towards the spaces that we're in. And I feel like this didn't happen just so we can go back to a normal life without any difference whatsoever. There is a reason that this pandemic happened, and we have to look deep into that and see how we can make things better, how we can be more considerate of the environment, and really, really, really be more grateful that we still have this earth, and that there is a future. The future of it lies in our hands. We have to be very, very considerate of everything.
Yes, no, the future quite literally is in our hands. The market is determined by the consumer.
Yes.
So essentially, we all vote with our wallets.
Yeah, absolutely. How the consumer consumes it. Yeah, yes.
Moving towards a more local, more circular economy will definitely not just benefit South Africa, but, will benefit the
Yeah, the
world
whole
in the
world,
long run.
globally.
No, it's incredible talking to you.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me.
I just get so excited speaking to
Yeah,
individuals like yourself
right.
with this incredible drive, passion, and you have an incredible impact, not just with what you sell, the love you put into it, but you have an impact on your community, as you've mentioned with the ladies that work for you, teaching them new skills,
Mm.
and giving back,
Oh,
to South Africa, to a sense. You're contributing
yeah.
in more than one way, which is always incredible to hear.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, thank you so much for recognizing all of that. It's so personal for me. Whatever I do is so personal for me. So if I feel like even if one person says what I do and what they see inspires them or gives them good feelings, it warms their heart in one way or another, that itself is all the wealth and all the riches that comes from doing what I do. And I hope that I inspire other people to find a way to turn their passions into good, sustainable businesses and that they're able to make even in the smallest difference. I do have big dreams of growing big, but I never want to lose personal touch, the passion for the work, and I think that is sometimes the challenge that comes with wanting to upscale and grow bigger. That if what you do is so personal to you and how you interact with people is so important that you still have that one-on-one here or there. That even the buying process, there is interactions. You understand what the client wants and what they need, and you go out of your way to please. On a bigger scale, sometimes I think that is lost with big retailers, and people just become one of the big numbers. And I would like to continue doing this with so much passion, consideration, and love, and being as personal as possible.
The pandemic has been a global wake-up call. We all have a bigger appreciation for our essential workers. We have realized how important supporting and investing in local businesses are, and how important the development of a sustainable, circular economy is for both us and the environment. Thank you so much, Makhosazane, for sharing your story and your passion. Please make sure to check out ROSA Handmade SA on Instagram. All links and contact information will be provided in the description.
And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode, and be sure to subscribe to this podcast to avoid missing out on any future episodes. I'd appreciate it if you could leave a review, and if you have any thoughts on today's episode or perhaps topics you would like me to touch on, you can contact me via email. A link is provided in the description. I hope today's episode provided some new insights to what it means to be human, and I hope to see you in the next one.